Hey everyone, this is Rob.
And Michelle.
And welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school RuneScape. All right, so this week up on the docket, of course, as always, we'll be starting off by letting you know what we might have done this week.
I've done a lot.
Exactly. And then we'll be going right into the update for this week, but there's a bit of an update on what we were talking about last week, and so we'll be discussing the potential not future of the new prayer book.
Yep.
So
that's first things first.
Yeah, we'll be covering that, and then we'll be going into the actual update for this week, which is finally a long time coming. The rest of the Poll 79 changes.
I don't know if they said the rest. They just said more.
Well, okay. Yeah.
But they're making progress on it.
Yeah, making progress, and some stuff that I was really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, there is going to be a Q&A.
Yep. Our Q&A.
Yes, our Q&A. So we'll be covering that. And also, of course, as always, if you also want to be included into the Q&A, feel free to ask us questions anywhere that we might be, including all of our socials, or especially our Discord, which you can join at discord.gg/Bunebape.
Bunebape.
Yeah, feel free to join. We have a questions channel there. Also, we have a bunch of people that just kind of hang out in, general chat and stuff like that, play games together, talk about games together, and just generally chill out together.
Just vibe, bro.
Yeah. Also, we do have movie nights on the regular.
Yeah, we have
as well.
movie nights twice a week, usually, unless we have something else going in real life. And then we do weekly bun giveaways.
Yeah. So feel free to join up in that or not. Either way, we'll be getting right into it. But before we do, Michelle, how's it going?
It is going so well. I've had a lot of stuff going on this week, actually. Lots of raids, per usual.
Oh, wow. Who would have thought?
I did a few top runs this week. It was kind of exciting. I actually survived an entire top for the first time ever. It was my 14th KC.
Nice.
So pretty hype about that. And that same raid, somebody pulled legs, which are not the best drop, but I got like 3 mil. So,
Which one?
Justicar? I know that's not how you say it. Everyone makes fun of me.
Some people say like
Justicar.
Some people say Justiciar, and I'm like,
Justiciar.
What? Is this an Ardoin situation again?
Justicar, and you can't change my mind.
Yeah, we'll just call it Justy.
So Justy
the same reason that people call it Ardy.
Ardoin. But yeah, so that was worth 3 mil, which is nice because I am rebuilding my bank from buying the Shadow still. We also got some TOA purples. We've been trying to run a lot of 400s just because they print money, low-key. Like, usually like 30+% chance of getting a purple is huge.
Yeah.
So the first thing we got was a ward, which was a 1 mil split. Got bullied for that one.
Wow, huge.
I'm rebuilding my bank. I'm rebuilding my bank.
Big 1 mil, dude. You got to start, one step at a time.
Shut up.
A few million of those and you'll be good to go.
And then a couple days ago, it was like actually so sick. I got chaps in my name, and it was only like, man, I forgot to write it down, but it'd only been like a week since my last purple, I think, something like that. But that was 16.1 mil each, and then we got a back-to-back, and I pulled another one. I got a ward.
Whoa.
Which I'd never gotten a ward before, so I was super excited about that. That was another 1.1 mil, so that was a collection luck slot too. All I need is the mask and shadow for the collection luck. And then we pulled a third back-to-back. That was in Wraith's name, though. Wraith pulled a Fang.
A back 3 back.
Yeah, back 3 back to back to back. Wraith pulled a Fang for 10 mil each. And then Wraith pulled a back to back to back to back. Another Fang. So another 10 mil. We got 4 purples in a row.
Yeah, pretty good.
It was incredible.
All 4 shadows.
Yeah, we were going to do some more raids last night. We did do a couple raids. But I got frustrated after one raid and was like, okay, that's it.
Yeah, and then what'd you do instead?
I ended up playing Zelda.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was gifted the new Zelda game. I'd never played a Zelda game before, ever in my life.
Me neither.
You haven't either?
No.
I thought you had. Maybe you could play this after me. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, probably not, but maybe.
So yeah, shout out Annan. Annan gifted me Tears of the Kingdom. Anyone asking why I didn't play the other one first? Because I was given this one. So
also, the other one is expensive still. So.
Yeah, they're both still expensive. So I like it a lot. And it's a lot of fun so far. I played for like 4 hours last night. I'm really not used to the controls, though. The controls were like almost frustrating how much I am not used to them.
Yeah.
Like I would go to attack and like accidentally just like start running a little bit. And I'm like, put my weapon away and start running. And I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
Still getting used to it, but I might play a little bit more on stream, like the ends of streams this week, but I'm not totally sure.
That's pretty cool.
See. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had any of the Nintendo game systems growing up, except for like a Game Boy, which had, not cool games besides like, I mean, obviously I had Pokemon, which is
We
cool.
had a Mario, or was it Mario? Just regular Mario on
Just
our Game Boy.
just regular Mario,
Like
yeah.
Super Mario 8 or whatever.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Sure. The first Game Boy I ever had actually was from my mom's work. She is like, hey, this has been left in our lost and found. So they said someone could take it home. And that's how me and my sister got a Game Boy.
Nice.
And it didn't light up. So we'd try to sneakily play in bed at night. And we'd have to angle it so like the light coming in through our door being open was shining directly on the screen.
That's weird.
Strategies.
Cool. Yeah, I had something similar. Me and my sister and I growing up, we both had Game Boy Colors, which I think is kind of what you're describing, where it doesn't have the backlight or anything like that.
I think it's very similar because I've seen a picture of that and it looks similar.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think mine was, or like the games that we played were like, I played Rampage, which is such a weird game. I think they even remade it and they made a movie out of it. It's not a very crazy game. Like you just go up and like smash buildings and eat people and stuff like that.
And eat people?
Yeah, like you go up and if someone is like yelling out the window, you can like take them and like eat them or throw them or something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's like Attack on Titan, but you were the Titans.
Yeah, and you just go through and you smash all the windows and then eventually the building like crumbles.
Are you a bad person?
I mean, I guess so, because that was like one of the first games that I had.
How old were you?
I don't know. Very young, 5,
Robert?
6.
That's nuts. And
I mean,
Robert's
maybe
like
7, I don't
doing
know.
such age inappropriate things, considering like violent stuff that you watched when you were little.
Yeah.
Tell them everyone your favorite movie as a kid.
My favorite movie was Dances with Wolves.
Tell everyone one of the scenes.
So first off, the movie is starring Kevin Costner, which is, I mean, a legend. So obviously you should know the movie. It's a 3-hour long movie. It's like actually I think 3 hours and 15 minutes. And in one, it's like man, I do not want to ruin this, but anyways, it's like
How old is this movie though?
It's a very very old movie. All right, it was made in like 90 or something like that, like the year 90. And there's a part that she is referencing where Kevin Costner just, as a rite of passage, like kills a buffalo and then eats its heart. But yeah, that was my favorite
Robert,
movie
as like a
growing
4-year-old, was like, I love this.
Yeah, that was my favorite movie growing up.
That is so nuts. You're so strange for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a cool movie. It's actually an incredibly deep movie, and I could not appreciate it as a child, but
Of course.
yeah, I haven't seen it as an adult, so I can't say.
We need to watch it again.
We should.
Next movie night, we all watch Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves.
But anyway, movies aside, that's like pretty much all I've been up to this weekend. I had a lot of purples, which I felt very excited about, but listing them all out, it's like, oh, that's not as much talking as I thought I had, you know?
Yeah. It wasn't 30.
It wasn't 30. What a disappointment. Only like 6.
Yeah.
Scam.
Unfortunate.
What have you been up to?
I have not been up too much. My favorite saying of all time, apparently. So, yeah, I have not really played pretty much any games. I played a little bit of. Actually, I spent the whole weekend playing Diablo. If I'm being honest, I played like all day Friday and Saturday, and
He's addicted.
Actually all day Saturday and Sunday, really. And then I kind of like at the end of the weekend was like, man, I honestly this whole time kind of feel like I was kind of like still like wondering if I actually liked playing Diablo or if I was kind of like either like trying to like it or something like that. But I have kind of come to the conclusion I don't really have a really fun time playing it.
Wait, you don't?
No.
Oh no.
Like after I'm done playing it, I'm all like, all right, cool. I guess that was fun. And then that's it.
The end.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not.
It was even like you were playing it so much that we went to the zoo, which wait, let's talk about the zoo after this.
Okay.
That was really funny. We like went to the zoo in the evening because Robert was like, yeah, I'm really vibing right now. Not in a good way, I guess.
No, I mean, I had like fun playing, and then I was like, man, this is kind of like lame. I don't know. Like the gear progression is like, there's like no, for example, to make an equivalent to RuneScape, there's like no like scythes to go after.
Oh,
Like,
you have no like end game stuff that you could chase for a year.
It's the same as like free to play RuneScape.
Oh.
Where like, and this is like trading too, so you're like a main account. So it's like, oh, you got your full rune and your rune 2-hander. It's like, all right, cool.
Oh, that's not very exciting at all, is
Yeah,
it? That's
yeah.
like the best you could go for?
I mean, you can like and the whole point of Diablo, and it always has been, is you get like really small upgrades. Like your gear gets, 5% better, 10% better,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to level 100, and that's it. But yeah, I don't know. There's no like chase items. They're like your build is usually the same from level like I don't know, whenever you unlock everything. So level 25 until level 100, it'll be the same build.
Oh my god, that sounds boring.
And the way you level up is the same way you like get more loot and progress your character. So you're really just running one dungeon for
Ever.
yeah, for the full 120 hours it takes to get to level 100.
Oh.
So
I mean, I guess I do repeat raids all the time, but I'm working towards other stuff.
yeah.
Like I'm working now towards buying Missouri.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know, and also there's like it's kind of disappointing because I guess RuneScape also kind of has this problem, but for anyone that doesn't know, Diablo 4 has been in production for like over 10 years essentially.
Wait, actually?
Well, it's since the last Diablo, it's been like 12 years.
I didn't know that was that long.
So I mean, obviously I don't know exactly how long it's been in production, but
You can you tell me exactly?
at least 5 years,
By days?
probably closer to 8.
Yeah.
So it's been in production for a long time, and there's still stuff that like was a problem in Diablo 3 that they fixed in Diablo 3 that's still a problem in Diablo 4.
How is that even?
Like
They can't just get together?
I don't know, like I'm like I was telling my friends about it. I'm like it kind of feels like they just never like the devs of this game never played the last game. 'Cause it's like just really common stuff that was annoying in the last game is still kind of annoying in this game.
Just like stuff that seems easy to fix too?
Like one of the worst parts of the game is going to the dungeons to farm them because you have to like ride there and the traveling is really janky. Your
Wait,
horse,
what do you? Oh, you ride a horse.
yeah, your horse sucks and gets like caught in everything and has like a low stamina bar. Like it's almost faster to just run places. And the map's huge, which is like cool, but if you want to get to a dungeon, you have to like run and teleport, and it's so annoying. And instead of like adding a teleport system, they're all like, "Oh yeah, we'll add that because apparently this sucks. We'll do that in a few months." Like,
So that's just not gonna happen.
no, it'll happen. Just like why is that? Why is that not a thing?
I thought it was gonna be like what was it? The New World, where they're just like, yeah, we'll add that eventually, and then they just like don't add anything ever again.
No.
To be fair, New World never said they'd add stuff. They just kind of fell off, right?
Yeah, New World just never like really communicated, and yeah, never actually did anything.
They're just liars the entire time.
Yeah, it was kind of like how RuneScape is like has like a bunch of stuff that's really obvious that should be fixed by now, but like it just isn't.
There's
and
some
no one knows
cool
why.
little things this week. We'll get to.
Oh,
kind of.
Oh, yeah, for
You
RuneScape,
probably know what I'm talking about.
No,
like,
yeah,
the hardcore thing.
Oh, actually,
it's a little bit of
okay,
safety.
okay, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
But it is crazy how long this game's been out, and like some of the quality stuff that they add, quality of life stuff. It's just like, how did that take so long?
Yeah, it's exactly like that, but like over and over again because it's like 10 years of stuff like all at once. I'm like, how is this still in the game?
Oh.
Or like,
annoying.
I'll get up from playing Diablo and being like, man, this is really not fun. Like that actually happens often.
That's really sad.
Like almost every other time I'm done playing, I'm like, wow, this is not fun. I'm not having a good time.
I have to say that to people sometimes too on Twitch. Like people will be like doing TOA with me and like getting frustrated, and they're just like, this just like isn't even fun. Like I just want to get purples, and I'm like, if you're not having fun, you need to take a break. Like it's a video game; it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah,
that's why last time when I got frustrated, I just switched games.
I guess it's different for me because like. At least, in RuneScape, like obviously, I don't know. I feel like the bosses are pretty well made, where it's like if you follow the set of directions, then like you'll win.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like there are systems in Diablo that are just so oppressive and unfun and are just made to make you have not a good time.
Wait, do you think they're literally made to make you not have a good time?
I mean, I don't know who plays the game. I've said this to like my friends. I'm like, I don't know which dev enters the game, experiences some things that I and other people have experienced, and is like, yeah, that's it. That's what I was looking for.
That's the stuff.
I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. I love getting frozen for 5 seconds straight with no counterplay. This is great.
Wait, is this Ice Barrage by Diablo?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things in the game where it's like, all right, cool.
Wait, I remember that thing you actually told me. He calls me on his way home from work, and you told me you were complaining about it on the phone, and you were still angry about when you got home.
Yeah.
It's very serious.
They're all like, oh, dude, I love it when there's so much stuff on your screen you can't see the floor, but that's where all the stuff that blows up after you kill the guys are. So you can't even see it, and you just die for no reason. It's like, all right, cool.
Kind of a stressful game.
That's really fun. I'm glad that happened.
So you think... Oh, yeah, because last night, whenever he played game, he just played Deep Rock Galactic instead.
Yeah, see, Deep Rock is fun.
I was going to say, is that going to be a switch now to
Deep Rock is fun. One, the devs are super communicative. It's like actually S tier. And also on top of that, they do things that are fun. They like stuff blown up, getting electrocuted, set on fire. They're just like fun stuff, but it's also challenging. So
yeah.
I don't know.
It's
that
not
game,
just punishing, no fun.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of the exact opposite of like devs are like, all right, let's balance this thing so it's like actually fun and challenging at the same time. Where in Diablo, it's just like, man, I want these mobs to make you hate your decisions in life.
That's frustrating.
That being playing this game.
I hate that. Games are supposed to be fun. Challenging for sure, but fun.
Yeah, so at the end of the weekend where I played Diablo for like, I don't know, 20 hours, I was like, all right, cool, I'm never going to play this game again.
I feel like you probably got your money's worth over the past few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that maybe is an
Not
exaggeration.
Not the most money's worth.
I might play more once more seasons come out and they actually fix stuff, but there's already...
But you're not going to play hardcore how you were.
Yeah, there's already fixes that are supposed to be in the game in the second season, which is like 6 months away. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'll play next year.
I was going to say, so a whole another year.
Yeah.
2024, catch him on Diablo again.
I did log into RuneScape, but I actually fell asleep before I could play. So
was that yesterday?
No, I think it was yesterday. Like
you've been falling asleep so much that you don't even know what day it was.
Yeah, I've been waking up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, he's gonna start going to sleep whenever I start the stream at 8 p.m.
Yeah, unfortunate, but I'm actually gonna go to bed right after this podcast. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Usually we like split it in half right in the middle. This is only gonna be 20 minutes. We were split it.
Yeah, it's okay though.
But another in real life thing. Are you done talking about the games?
Yeah, I mean, I really just did that. Played a little Deep Rock, and that was it.
We need to tell them about the bear.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we went to the zoo. For anyone that doesn't know, the zoo is amazing. I'd recommend checking out and supporting your local zoo.
You know, can I say that it was kind of a bummer? Like whenever we were going, I was getting sad because I was like, "There's no way that whenever we move to Europe, there's gonna be a zoo this good." You look up world's best zoos, San Diego Zoo's the top one, like on so many people's lists, and I'm like, "Oh." We've peaked.
Yeah, it's a world renowned zoo.
If you're ever in Southern California, it's worth the trip to go.
Yeah, it is kind of expensive. It's $60 for the day.
Yeah, or like $70 for a year-long pass, so that works out.
Yeah, if you're staying here for a day, that totally works out.
Yeah.
Said no one.
This and the Safari Park, the regular, both are good.
Yeah.
But regular's like the world-renowned one.
Yeah, maybe like I know a lot of zoos are like not cash grabs, but aren't as actually like helpful.
Really? Environmental friendly? You know what I mean?
Not environmentally friendly, but like conservative or
conservation.
Conservation, there we go. Yeah.
They're really good at conservation. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, they like have like helped not revive
they're trying to revive a species of rhino that has gone extinct via IVF.
They haven't exactly revived extinct species, but they have helped species not become extinct.
Yeah, species that were pretty on the brink about it.
Yeah,
it's cool. We've paid to go to a lot of extra zoo things over the years, so we know a lot of weird fun facts about the zoo.
Yeah, if you are in town, you can actually sign up to, or you can buy passes to stay overnight at the zoo.
Mm-hmm. That was at the Safari Park. We did it for Art's birthday a few years ago, and it was like one of my favorite things we've ever done.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You could hear lions in the middle of the night going, "Rawr." They don't roar scary. They sound dumb.
Let's actually tell the story about why we wanted to talk about it.
This episode is sponsored by the San Diego Zoo.
Yeah, so either way, support your local zoo. Either way, we were looking at bears.
And we went in the evening because that's when they're more active.
Yeah, go in the morning or the evening. Animals hate the middle of the day because
that's
when they sleep.
Sleeping.
Yeah. So we were there, and the bears were active. So we were checking out the bears. You know, it was cool. Checking out the sloth bears, the Andean bears, and then we roll up to the grizzly bears.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know, grizzly bears are big.
They are very big. If you don't know how their enclosures work, it's like flat land with like a deep pit separating them and then like the outside the enclosure.
Yeah, it's like a 10-foot deep pit so the bears can't get out, obviously.
Yeah. And then there's like little stairs, I think, in case the bears fall.
Yeah. So the bear is like backing up to this pit, so close that I'm like, certainly he's gonna fall in.
We were so convinced that I started pulling my phone out. I was like, I'm gonna catch this bear falling on
Certainly this bear was gonna fall backwards into this pit. But no, he was a trained bear. This was a professional pro move this bear was pulling.
It felt like a house bear thing to do.
This bear has trained himself.
Yeah, he doesn't want to mess up his enclosure.
Exactly. So the bear proceeds to squat off the edge and just release his full number 2.
He pooped into the pit.
Down the slope of this pit.
He pooped into the pit.
And then I know most people have seen this. If you have a dog, you've seen this. Where the dog feels like their business isn't finished, and so they waddle away while they're pooping.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Just a giant grizzly bear.
Just this giant 500-pound grizzly bear.
And then he was waddling around peeing too. Robert was literally in tears crying while laughing.
So weird to have seen this in real life. Like it was like a skit, but this bear was in on it.
Yeah, right? It felt planned. It felt like if I saw a video of that, I'd be like, that's probably fake.
Yeah.
But no, it just walked over like purposely on the edge. So I wonder if it always goes and poops in the pit.
I think so. I think this. I'm saying. I think he like trained himself to do this.
He probably stepped on his poop before and was like, "Oh, that sucks. I'm gonna poop into the pit."
Yeah. Well, because if you think about it, he either steps on it or is like, "All right, that zone's off limits," or it's in the water and he drinks from that water.
Yeah, gross.
So he's like, "All right, this is a no-go."
Honestly, bears are so smart for thinking of doing that.
Yeah, that was really smart.
It was hilarious, though.
Yeah, I was dying. I couldn't breathe.
Funny. I posted a video, not of him pooping. I got it. I was so in shock. I didn't click play to start a video because I was just watching like, no way, this is real. I got him waddling away, and then I got Robert laughing, crying in a video that's on Discord if you want to see.
I was concerned for my health. I thought I was going to die from laughing.
Yeah, for like 10 minutes after, anytime that we mention it, he would just be in tears.
Yeah, it was
so weird.
It was such a comedy special of this bear that I was not convinced I wasn't being like punked.
Yeah, so now I only want to go to the zoo in the evening because I'm just like, they are getting weird at night.
Also, I feel old because I feel like a lot of people won't know what punked is anymore.
I feel like people who listen to this podcast would know what punked is.
When's the last time you've seen MTV on ever?
I think MTV isn't like stopping or something.
Exactly.
I feel like they might have said that, which is kind of crazy. The end of an era.
Yeah, who watches MTV, let alone punked?
But I'm saying our age group. The age group that listens to this.
Yeah, I guess everyone that plays RuneScape is like 45. So
true. My little brother's listening now. Like, what's that?
Yeah,
it's just a TV show. Ashton Kutcher come and prank you.
Yeah, shout out Ashton Kutcher. He's actually doing a lot for the world. And we are back.
Hi.
So it is the
Told you guys this was a short part one.
Yeah, it is the next day, 6:22, and there has been any more news?
There's been a development.
There's been a development.
For me, I thought it was a secret, but apparently we were actually announcing it last night. I'm joining a hardcore group Iron.
Yeah, so she's
I have joined.
HC Gym.
Yeah, HC Gym.
Yeah.
Our names. Okay, so the people in it, they're all streamers as well. So go check all the streams. Chershi, Nununella, Yeet Greet, Strawberry, and then myself.
Yeah.
Her name is Strawberry. I'm not just saying Strawberry cute.
It kind of just sounded like you are having a really hard time pronouncing Hershey's. And also, strawberries.
I'm like, strawberry?
And I'm sure, given long enough, I'll find one for Nunu as well as Yeet.
Yeah. But it's just, as a bunch of streamers, we're starting hardcore. The hardcore is just going to be very, like, casual and stuff. But, yeah, we wanted to start a GIM, and we're like, might as well make it hardcore. The whole account's going to be kind of casual, but our goal right now is to do, like, a bunch of smaller things, but eventually get to TOA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if any of our listeners are... OGs of the podcast, you will be correct in assuming Michelle did have a group Ironman with me, which she stopped playing after 1 month. And
I did more quests than you.
Sure, whatever you want to say. All I know is your total level is like less than 1,000. So.
Okay, well, you don't even play anymore.
Oh, okay. I mean,
got him.
Sure. Okay.
Got him.
Yeah, she played so few hours that she actually relinquished the party leader role from the group a long time ago.
You did too, though.
No, I don't. I'm the group leader.
I thought you... Oh, no, it gave it to Alfresco, and then Alfresco didn't log in for so long that you got it.
Yeah.
It's passing along the baton.
Because I actually play the game.
But now Alfresco's been playing again, and Robert hasn't, so he'll probably go back to Alfresco.
No, I log in enough that it doesn't do that.
You log in, just stay at Guardian Serve to make sure you get to stay in charge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all a power thing for him.
Is that your only update?
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I didn't get anything in raids last night. But I'm super, super excited. I might potentially be making videos of our progress as we go throughout it and stuff. So I'll keep you guys updated on that.
Huge.
But our names are all cute. They're all, so I think it's Shershi's idea because she described herself as a weeb who likes Sailor Moon. So all of our names are like Sailor with our RuneScape names, which mine's perfect because my name is now Sailor Boon.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine works the best.
Yours is the only one that actually works.
Yeah, but I mean, because of mine, then everyone knows that theirs are supposed to be the same vibes.
Or do they just see the others and not really you that much, so they just think that everyone else is a sailor?
I mean, in Sailor Moon, aren't they all called sailors?
Yeah.
Like the Sailor Jupiter or whatever.
Sailor Mercury and stuff like that.
Yeah, so people will still understand it, hopefully. And if not, we figure the double meaning is that sailing's coming out next year.
Yeah.
So it works out.
True.
Yeah, but I'm super excited about it.
If you were a sailor, would you be the captain or would you be like the first mate or just a random scallywag?
I'd be a random scallywag for sure. Okay. What about you?
I feel like
there's so much pressure on your captain if something bad's happening to go down with the ship. Like, I don't want that responsibility.
I feel like because of like my I don't know. I would want to say that I would be an in-between. Like, I'd be approaching first captain, but like...
You'd be like third captain.
At a moment's notice, I would leave.
Okay. I mean, you can't just abandon like that.
I could. Yeah.
That's some scallywag behavior, for
exactly.
real.
So that's why I'm like, it's kind of in between. Like, they would be like, oh, my most loyal right hand.
Yeah, not realizing you're a full-on scallywag.
And I'd be like, yar, peace out, matey.
Are you okay? What was that?
I mean, that's exactly what I would do. So
I am scared.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I would do. Do you have any other updates?
I think that is about it for me. What about you?
I have a huge update. I played a single round of Deep Rock Galactic at 5 a.m. this morning.
He's like a good gamer.
It was crazy. I actually have this new, not this new, but a new to me build where my guy is he has a flamethrower, right?
Of course he does. How else are you going to fight all the insects? There's insects, right?
Yeah, they are insects.
Okay.
So it's actually a pretty cool, or it's like pretty interesting. Like I use my flamethrower a lot, but like you can switch up the builds and stuff like that. This is a bunch of information I'm sure everyone cares about.
I mean, whenever I went to edit back, I was like, wow, we kind of talked about Diablo a lot.
Yeah.
But this is why I put the timestamps in, so you could skip. I'm going to keep all this as part of the personal updates.
Oh, okay. But yeah, there's a pretty cool like way that I changed my flamethrower. So the flames are like sticky, kind of like napalm, if anyone knows, or like glue if you're normal. And
or like glue.
Yeah, so you can like shoot the flames on the floor and then the bugs walk through it and set themselves on fire. It's actually kind of cool.
That's kind of gnarly.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That reminds me of a little thing that I killed in Zelda the other day. I like set leaves on fire at the foot of it and it was like damaging it.
Yeah, I like that Zelda has like realistic things like that. Like it has realistic gravity and anti-gravity and stuff like that. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have things like that, but like that do that yet, but there are items that'll like allow you to lock items in place. So like a lot of times people what like interesting stuff you can do is you can like get an item, lock it in like space and time, and then you can like hit it a bunch.
Oh.
And then when you unlock it from space and time, it'll fly in that direction as if it just
that's so cool.
Got all those hits at once.
Yeah, as is right now, I could like lift up one item at a time and go and like attach it to other items.
Yeah.
But man, that's like when the controller's really annoying me because I'm like these angles, bro.
Just get it for PC. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, dude.
But yeah. I was planning on playing a lot of Zelda today, and then now I've just been doing a lot on the Iron. Oh, also another thing, actually. Next week, I'm going to be taking part in a little weekend-long bingo by Nunu.
Oh, it's only a weekend long?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only for a weekend, so it's actually really chill. It's for her birthday. She's doing a bingo event.
Oh,
so I'm
binger.
Yeah, so I'm also been Slayer point boosting on my main account because I only have 240 points right now. I started out with 40 this morning, so I'm doing great.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty efficient.
Yeah, so that makes me not want to play Zelda as much because I'm like, ooh, I just want to make gains on the hardcore and I just want to go and do Slayer. But we'll see. Maybe I'll play some later.
Maybe.
It is a lot of fun.
It is a very long game, so I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to experience it.
I'm kind of scared I'll get addicted to it.
A little dick?
Yeah.
You guys should look up a dick. They have really
They're
small legs.
They're the cutest animals.
They're pretty much like a miniature deer.
They're so cute.
Speaking of miniature deers, we have a very miniature update on what's going on as far as the Ruinous powers goes.
Not the most miniature, but he just wanted to relate to a dick.
No, it really is miniature because I can sum it up in one sentence, but I will not because this is a podcast.
Okay.
So we have the future of the Ruinous powers.
We recently ran a second beta for the Ruinous powers, a highly anticipated prayer book proposed as a reward for DT2.
Is it highly anticipated?
Just listen. We intend to run this beta until Wednesday, but we've made the difficult decision to end the beta early and shelve the Ruinous powers.
That's a really weird way of canceling a project without saying that you're canceling it forever.
Listen, okay, we have a lot to talk about, but we'll get into it later that they're talking about maybe going back to something similar in the future.
Sure, yeah.
Today...
Just add this to the list.
Today, we'd like to cover the reasons as to why and inform you of the future of Ruinous powers or additions to prayer and OSRS. Our first mention of OS's first ever new prayer book came over half a year ago alongside 2022's Winter Summit when we said, now it's a bit too early to go into specifics, but we can tell you that we plan to work with the community to devise a powerful new set of prayers. In the months since, we've combed through hundreds of player suggestions, numerous iterations of the Ruinous powers, added, removed, and reworked prayers, and spent somewhere in the region of 12,000 words trying to communicate them across various blogs during community consultation. All of this with one goal in mind, to try and create an exciting and unique set of prayers that would complement existing and new methods without outright replacing the much-loved standard prayer book.
It's kind of funny. I mean, I didn't really get this vibe, but them keeping track of how many words they used to describe
They're probably getting
prayers,
frustrated.
It reminds me of like those meme relationships where they're all like, I've spent this much money, and they like know exactly how much money they spent on their significant other.
It's like, whoa, why are we keeping track?
Are you trying to make me feel bad for like?
No, they're probably frustrated because it never worked out at the end.
Yeah, it definitely didn't. As far as I know, no one liked it. So
no, people did is the thing.
Oh, okay. Well, just no one I knew.
The thing that they said that I really liked, just basically in a summary, was saying that a lot of people were just not excited enough about it. Like a new prayer book you could be super excited about. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, that'll be cool. But no one really like cared.
Yeah.
So people were excited about it like in a vague way, but not like really looking forward to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like thinking back on it now, I feel like they could have done it in a lot better of a way.
Oh, yeah. They recognize that, too.
Yeah. Like, the elimination of all skill prayers was kind of like,
I hated
all right,
that.
like, what's the point?
I know. I really wanted something new, especially because that would give people a good reason to switch in between the two.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it lacked exactly that. Like, it lacked a good reason to want to switch. And also, it lacked, like, ingenuity. Like, it really just felt like, I was like, all right, this is just the same prayer book.
Slightly different.
But slightly different.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, if they did something like that, I'd be fine with that. If you were just, like, able to, I don't know, like, I think, like, because they had a lot of problems competing with old prayer book stuff, right? Like, obviously the overheads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if all they did was, like, kind of, I don't know, I think obviously this isn't the simple solution. I don't think there's a simple solution to this.
Okay.
But I think I was just imagining it'd be cool if like they just kept the same prayer book and then you could like at a church or any place that had an altar like toggle between that prayer book and the new prayer book or something like that, and it would like you would like retain the old prayer book, but then like the just whatever like 4, 5, 6 new prayers would like swap places with their old counterparts.
So be like just an improved version of the prayer book.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you mean?
Which I mean, they have a whole thing that we're going to go into in a second about power creep. So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like it wouldn't just be directly better versions, but like you would like swap out rigor and augury for like whatever other competing versions, and then you would still have your overheads in the same place. Because then I think that was like kind of like a really weird, jarring thing for a lot of people because it's really hard to imagine the game without overheads.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about their weird rendition of overheads, but like the actual protect from overheads.
Yeah. One thing that I did see suggested, I was trying to find it right now while he was talking, but I can't. People were making suggestions to have like a God-related prayer thing, like it's in your normal prayer book, kind of like you were saying, but you like have specific like 4 prayers per God that you could use.
Yeah.
They have to like have something to be affiliated with him, but like extra prayers without having a whole new prayer book like that.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool because then one, it would actually have a thematic reason for existing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like now it's kind of like, oh, this
I mean, it would have made sense probably with the quest lore. That's why they want to do with this quest, but in the future, it's going to be hard to introduce it again.
I mean, I agree, but I think they didn't go far enough into the give and take aspect that they were like trying to like pigeonhole this whole thing
No,
into.
and they know that too.
And so it kind of just, that's what I think is like why it ended up feeling like that. But if it had like a thing that they actually had to stick to, like God related stuff, like, you know, Gothics gave you extra like restorative kind of prayers or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like Saradomin was more, I don't know what the heck Saradomin does, but like, I don't know, Zamorak did some demony stuff, you know, like stuff that would make sense.
We don't know the lore.
Yeah, I don't really know the lore pretty much at all. But yeah, just like stuff that would make sense, and then maybe still kept your overheads in the middle, because I feel like that was such a big thing.
You just want regular prayer books, but revitalized.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to have a reason to swap over, but also I don't want it to be so different and so much worse in some aspects that I just can't really imagine using it.
You know, that wasn't their fear. It's their fear that people would only use it.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, is that one's going to be like a lot better than the other
unless they're skilling in it.
If they're directly competing with each other.
Yeah.
So that's
they're too similar.
That's why I'm saying like you should bring the best parts of the original to the new one potentially, because like if you did an only skilling prayer book, let's just imagine, then you're like, that would actually be more interesting, weirdly enough, because you'd have a really good reason to swap to it on occasion.
Sometimes, but not all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a tricky thing to try and balance.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, that's for sure. And I don't know if I blame them. I blame them for not trying harder, kind of like with everything, where they're all like, oh, this kind of sucks. I'm just going to push this to the side and push it under the rug. This never happened.
Well, I think a lot of people were also just like, myself, I don't know what I want in it. Like, I can't even give constructive criticism because all of it, I'm just like, yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. The thing that's like really frustrating to me sometimes about this game is their polling system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one, it exists, and two, they don't use it very well.
Yeah.
Like, because like
the skilling things, there was supposed to be skilling in the
book. Yeah, that's a really good. That's a really good example. Like we voted on something, and then they're all like, "Oh, that's actually kind of too hard." So we just, instead of
they said
reiterating,
it didn't make sense thematically.
Okay, sure.
I don't know what that means exactly, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. But I don't know. It seems like a lot of times instead of like, you know, there's plenty of like real world examples of like reiterating and iterating again upon like things that just aren't perfect or don't work very well. But instead of like doing that, which I feel like is kind of the purpose of the polling system, they just like, again, they like brush it under the rug, and at this point there's like 10 bodies under this rug and it's overflowing. But I don't know, that just seems like, I mean, it's obviously not efficient from a development standpoint, which is probably why they do it. I'm not blind to that, but it just seems kind of like pointless that we have the polls still.
That reminds me of one of our questions that we're going to have in the QA. I could see you talking about this again later.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, back to the notes, because we kind of got super segued there. I think that we accidentally spoiled basically everything we're going to go over, but that's okay.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point. It's, you know, I mean, I think most people, if you're playing by now, know.
True.
Ruinous powers will never exist.
Dude, before we started the podcast, I didn't know anything. Like, nothing. I just knew nothing. Like, I would probably... I didn't know that there was, like, an ancient spell book until I did the quest, and I was like, oh, I got a thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's people who play like how I did, very ignorantly, and are not active in the community at all.
That's funny, because I mean, I guess coming from WoW, it's really similar. In WoW, every Tuesday, you're like, all right, like, what's happening this Tuesday? And, I mean, usually you'll know if it's a bigger patch or not, but there's fixes every Tuesday.
I would hear about big stuff, like... like mini games and stuff. I think because Tempros came out around the time we started, and I think I heard Tempros before it was going to.
Yeah, but also I don't know how much of that you heard from like me and stuff like
True.
that.
Yeah, like there's plenty of people who play like how I did. Like they just literally never hear about stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean that's why they have the messages in game because people do that.
And all those messages in game 2, I would just ignore.
Yeah,
I never clicked them.
unfortunate.
But anyway, in pursuit of offering a prayer book we believe you're happy with, we feel as though the initial vision has fallen to the wayside, and that what we set out to make isn't something we've been able to achieve, despite our efforts to realize something special. We know the idea of a new prayer book, new prayers, or fresh ways to engage with combat in OS is something players have been keen on us exploring for a long time, and felt that thematically, Desert Treasure 2, The Fallen Empire, was the perfect time for us to start exploring these concepts. You made your opinion very clear that you want us to explore adding a new prayer book, with the green light pole passing with flying colors. However, many players point out that the considerable overlap between the Ruinous powers and the standard prayers, that's what we're saying, boils down what Stardustling and tend to feel like a choice and a trade-off to. If you're comfortable with the content, you should always use Ruinous powers.
Yeah, which is exactly what the balance was for most people. It wasn't like, a lot of people were exactly that, like not on the fence. They were like, oh, this is like higher DPS and I'm a fairly decent player. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to use this.
Yeah, it's not even that people didn't want it. It's that potentially it wouldn't be good for the game.
Yeah, or it's like, actually, I'm really not comfortable with that. I'm just going to never, ever use that prayer book.
Yeah.
There will probably be like some people in a transitionary phase, but
for the most part, everyone falls into 1 or 2 camps. Always or never. Yeah,
it's not like we said, it's not like an all-skill prayer book. There's no reason to ever use it if you are in one of those 2 camps, which is practically everyone.
Mm-hmm. So, in essence, we're left with what is effectively an improved version of the standard prayer book, where you gain a sizable amount of power at the expense of taking a little extra damage from time to time. Now, why exactly is this a problem, especially if it's something you're happy with? In the interest of full transparency, we're reasonably confident that the current iteration of the Ruinous powers would pass a poll, though we are aware that many of you out there feel like they shouldn't be added to the game in their current form. For us as a team, we're not at all confident that they're a right fit for OS, and we'd like to explain why. So, Robert, you actually know a little bit about what we're about to speak about. You explained it to me.
It is very prevalent in literally every game.
I think that... So, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about power creep.
Yeah, we kind of already mentioned it.
Yeah, well, until I read all their examples, like, I still think I totally didn't understand it.
Oh,
so
really?
I actually really, really like this. That's why I wanted to go over this entire blog, because I thought it was actually very informative.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess unless you are very experienced with MMOs in particular, it's probably not something, or live service games in general, it's not something you really have experience with, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so I'll go over it. Firstly, we need to talk about power creep. For the uninitiated, power creep is a term used across a variety of games and often refers to the ways in which new content additions can increase player powers over time to the point where older content becomes devalued or simply obsolete.
Yeah.
In old school terms, Torva is an example of power creep, since it's objectively better than Bandos, the previous best-in-slot melee armor, in every way. While Torva remains more expensive and harder to obtain, if you're a player who has no issues forking out the necessary cash, there's no reason for you to use Bandos if you own Torva. And that's power creep in somewhat simplified nutshell. That's actually pretty much exactly like a definition for power creep. Like it just straight up replaces old content, and if you were...
It makes the other ones not relevant anymore.
The thing is, it doesn't. That's not the best example because you need Bandos to make Torva.
Well, yeah, they talk about that in one of the next paragraphs about how that's kind of like a better way of doing it. It's like kind of near the bottom of this section. They talk about the combo items.
And that's precisely why
I like the way that they do it that way. I think that's the smart way to do it. Same with Masori combining the Armadillo.
Yeah, I mean, it also has problems, but it's definitely a lot better than just simply replacing them.
Yeah, definitely.
They continue by saying, while it's often viewed in a negative light, we believe that power creep to some degree is ultimately a necessity. It matters to players that content is sufficiently rewarding after all. Would old school players in 2023 spend time killing a boss that doesn't give them something they want? No. Yeah, probably.
Oh.
I mean, there's plenty
actually to greenlog it.
I was like, plenty of people still kill KBD and still kill Scorpia.
You gotta greenlog it.
Content needs to have a purpose for players to dedicate time to beating challenges. Worthwhile rewards are the reason players choose to do content, and so to make rewards worthwhile. Power creep over time is necessary. And I would agree to some extent. Like, it's never really fun. This is actually one of the big problems for me of Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
Because they don't have what it's called vertical progression in most games. It's vertical because
they talk about it. Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy. It's almost like
Okay, it's almost like you read this blog.
It's almost like I kind of know what I'm talking about. I haven't read this blog though.
Oh, you haven't read the blog?
No, I haven't.
Oh, the way you were talking. That's why I keep like saying like, yeah, they talk about it because I thought you were bringing it up for a reason.
No, they mentioned
so
power
funny.
creep, and I was like, all right, I kind of know what this is.
Yeah, they
so
talk
I
about
just
the vertical and
it.
horizontal.
Yeah, so this game, as well as WoW and a lot of other games, do the traditional way, which is vertical. So you start from, bronze, which is pretty low on the totem pole, and then you go up to dragon. That's vertical. You're stepping up the ladder in power. And also there is horizontal, which this game is not. Most games are not, but Elder Scrolls Online is, in my opinion. There's still some power creep there, but not as much. But the problem there is that you don't really feel like you're progressing a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you could spend 10, 100 hours in Elder Scrolls Online and have the same set of gear.
Oh.
Because...
I mean, wait, me at TOA until you literally bought the Shadow last
Yeah,
week.
exactly. It's like, however many hours, let's say you spend 50% of your time at the end game with one set of gear, you're probably going to wear that same set of gear unless they make some different changes or big different raids come out or something like that. So the chances of you upgrading gear is very small, even after so long. Whereas if you're talking about World of Warcraft, you get a new set of gear every raid. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, every raid that comes out, there's going to be a new set of gear.
Of course.
So that's kind of the big difference between horizontal, and the main problem with horizontal is that you kind of don't feel like you're progressing because you don't have that power creep. It'd be the same as like if you just were at bronze the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And they give some more examples too later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like if there was dragon, but it wasn't really better. It was like a different flavor of bronze.
Well, the way that they were talking about it is like their niche weapons that they use to fill in stuff. Like the Dragonheart Lance, Dragonheart Crossbow. Like those are all horizontal progression because they're not necessarily better than other stuff, except for in these specific examples.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty similar as well. They go on to say that for the most part, we try to be pretty conservative when it comes to player power and try to avoid needlessly pushing it higher. To add to that, we're generally only able to push power creep at a pace that players are happy with anyways due to pulling rewards. It's worth keeping in mind that sometimes things just sound cool, and many players feel inclined to vote yes.
I think that's me.
Yeah.
I'm a yes man in this game for sure when it comes to pulls.
Absolutely. Even in some cases where the cool thing isn't healthy for the game long term, and to some degree it's on us to keep this in check and not offer things we feel will damage the game long term. Such as maybe the blowpipe.
Shut up.
When it comes to taking a conservative approach, there are two things we try to bear in mind above all else. We don't want to harm the value of equipment where possible. And number two is to look to utilize horizontal progression and niche weapons to fill in gaps and help players overcome obstacles that already exist. I don't know if they mentioned this here or not later on, but a really good example of this, in my opinion, is of horizontal progression is the Nightmare gear. I think that's a really good example. It is
I don't
still
think that they do. I don't even know what that is.
It's the best in slot crush gear.
Is it? It's not Justy. Inquisitor.
No, Inquisitor.
Yeah, I don't. I have like 6 Nightmare Casey.
Yeah, so the Inquis that gear is best in slot crush. So if you are going against any boss or something like that is weak to crush, which I think Nightmare is, funny enough, then that is going to be best in slot. So I think that's a really good option because it's not just straight up the new best in slot for all the gear.
Yeah.
Like Torva, it is just actually good for one thing, really.
Yeah, it's kind of like I was saying the Dragonheart stuff too.
Yeah. And so I think that's a really good example of that. A really good example of vertical progression is like
Bandos to Torva. Right?
Not even that. Really, it's I don't know. It's okay. A really good example of that is the Bofa over the crystal bow. You'll never use the crystal bow, and it's not good for anything else, and it doesn't dissolve into anything else.
Yeah, you don't even use it for the BOFA, huh?
Nope. It is just
weird.
straight
It feels
up
like
worse.
You should.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a good example of unfortunate things like that.
Mm-hmm.
One good thing that they have done that I don't think they mention here is that they've done a good job of adding these in certain spots that make it so old content doesn't become useless.
Well, they do. That's what they're talking about the bandos. Like, because God War Dungeon is still old content.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll mention that with the bandos.
Feel that old because everyone still does it anyway for pets and stuff.
Yeah, but I mainly meant because that's the main problem with vertical progression is that, like, let's say all the best gear came from the newest raid. Why would you ever do chambers?
Mm-hmm.
That's what World of Warcraft has a problem with because you only ever do old raids, like not the most brand new raid, if you want the gear to look cool.
Yeah.
Because you can change
only.
For Fashionscape you can change the look of your gear.
Yeah, at least they don't do that in here. They have like the T-bow and the scythe
exactly.
and the shadow. Yeah.
So that's why I think they do a really good job of that though, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They go on to say, let's dive deeper into the first of those points around the idea of devaluing equipment. The prime reason we keep this in mind is that for many players, for better or worse, power creep isn't as much of a concern as losing value on items they already own. Wow, they're really shooting shots at you right now. Where players can feel like they've been cheated out of wealth. Wow.
No, I don't care about bank value.
I know, but it's funny because like you just don't care at all.
Yeah.
One approach we've taken to this is in the past is combo items. So we've been talking about this a lot. So like Torva or Zenite or Zerite crossbow, stuff like that. Combo items aren't the only solution to this. Take a second to think about Torva. If it didn't require Bandosian components in some way, would Bandos chestplate and tassets absolutely plummet? The answer is likely no. Bandos is much more attainable for players, mains and irons alike, than Torva, whose increased cost and rarity gives it a power progression, since players need to earn more GP to upgrade. However, relying on price alone as a means to achieve power progression is tricky to get right because of the various factors at play, like drop rates, the value of GP over time, or other economic concerns, and as a result is harder to balance around when designing new, powerful rewards. I guess I kind of agree, but I feel like that's kind of like a disingenuous statement. Like, that's just assuming that people wouldn't move on to Torva like immediately.
Well, I don't think they would because it's mega expensive. Torva, I still don't own it. It's been out for over a year now.
Yeah, I guess so, but also
like I feel very silly taking my screenshot of my Fang kit and everyone was wearing Torva holding their Fang kits and I was wearing Bandos.
I mean, it's like that's actually I guess it makes sense, but also it kind of feels like wrong because it's not that much of a gain. If it was actually warranting of the price, then this wouldn't actually be a conversation.
I think it is though, isn't it? They were even saying how it's like actually significantly better than Bandos overall. I've been talking on stream too about how Torva is gonna be like my last upgrade is melee after range and mage, and everyone was saying like how Torva's like really busted and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
know the stats for it because it's my last priority.
Yeah, me neither. I'm exactly. I don't really know exactly how much better it is, but I was under the impression it was only like 1 or 2 max hit.
I have no idea, so I'm not even gonna guess.
I mean, I know like technically that's a lot. It's hard justifying it in like these small weird numbers, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's like huge, but I mean, I guess I could be wrong. Either way, they don't think it would be a big deal, so we'll just go with that. Outside of monetary concerns, though, the value of items can be affected by various other factors too. Is it an iconic item? Does it have heavy tie-ins and nostalgia? Or is it simply a status symbol? They all play a role in determining the value to players. While many items exist where the input is solely gold, items like Barrow's Gloves or the Inferno Cape represent milestones for players, as their time spent shouldn't feel like it's been needlessly undermined. This one's more of a point around player psychology than specifically about game health, but it's still something we keep in mind since it impacts your enjoyment and journey as a player. The second point is somewhat related to the first, but focuses on the idea of horizontal progression. This means progressing sideways by introducing new ways to overcome some problems rather than introducing new ways to overcome all problems. Something like the Dragon Hunter Lance is a prime example, where rather than saying, here's a better whip, we say, here's something new to use at a handful of places.
Yeah.
This is a way for us to give players items with utility that isn't so niche that it feels useless. Which is kind of funny. I mean, is the DHL still like best in slot at dragons? I don't
Yeah,
actually know since.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
People, I think that I don't know this for sure. I haven't had a Dragonhire Lance since I bought the Fang because
Yeah, I was
I
about
had
to
to sell
say.
all my melee to buy my Fang.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong, but I think that it's still slightly better than Fang
Yeah.
at dragons.
It kind of feels to me like actually a lot like Torva, like we were just talking about. Like it's not expensive, okay? DHL is not an expensive item, but it feels like
Depending on how much money you have.
yeah, but it feels like if you can just buy a Fang, I would just use the Fang
I just use the Fang because I don't like switching weapons a lot.
unless I had like a ton of money. I don't know if the DHL is like so much more worth it unless I like main chambers or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of feel like it's a little similar. Arguably, the best example of this in old schools spell books, where all of them have their separate niches and use cases without one absolutely dominating all the others in every situation. The tricky thing here is that these horizontal options still need to feel worthwhile. It can be difficult to make niche rewards feel good if you don't really care about the niche that it's filling. If Ulm and Vorkath didn't exist, would it still feel worth your time to chase a Hydra Claw or worth your GP to buy a Dragon Hunter Lance?
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly not. I mean, even still, some people probably would not because it's kind of a mid-game thing, I think, at this point. I mean, I've never owned a Fang, but I think if I was a mid-game player, I would just buy the Fang over, spending, I mean, for a DHL, I don't know how much they cost now, but you could, like, buy a full set of Bandos.
Probably. I mean, I straight up don't know how much anything costs.
Yeah.
I haven't had a.
Well, pretending the DHL is relatively at its old price.
If I'm guessing, it's like 40 mil, honestly. So it's not even close to the same price as Bandos.
Yeah,
actually.
I was like, it used to be like 80 mil. So I mean, now I'd be insane to like spend that much on a DHL over a Fang.
Yeah, I don't know, but I doubt it's that much anymore.
Yeah, but either way, I guess that's kind of like a weird like point in the game where it's like mid game you don't have a lot of gold and you want to like optimize it. So
I think that DHL and Dragonheart Crossbow are also huge for Vorkath, probably before you have access to a Fang.
I mean, but you can just buy a Fang.
DHL, yeah, it's more than a Fang. It's 39 mil.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I guess I mean you have a lot of money, but like remember how long it took you to get to that point? If you had 200 mil, which I think a lot of people are like at that point when you have like 17 to 1900 total level and like 2 to 300 mil
value, not just cash.
Yeah, you're not gonna spend what is it like 20% of your entire cash stack on one item that you're gonna use sometimes. You're gonna buy the item that is almost the same price that you can use everywhere, even if it's worse. Or at least that's
how you'd think of it.
Yeah, that's how I would think of it as like a mid-game player.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously everyone's different, and it's kind of just again like kind of like a weird situation, I guess.
Yeah.
Despite all the above, sometimes there's a need for vertical progression too. While horizontal progression moves sideways and focuses on obtaining new niche items with niche functions, vertical progression is moving upwards and outright upgrading. Weapons like the Scythe, Twisted Bow, Tumikins, Shadow, Blade of Saldor, or Grazi Rapier are prime examples of times we've crept power upwards. The trick with vertical progression is that we need to pick when and where to proceed upwards very carefully, ensuring rewards have a clear purpose and feel like a fair output for your time input. Ultimately, rewards drive people to engage with content, and power increases drive people to chase rewards. While it's easy enough for us to offer rewards that encourage people to engage with content, there are times when this is at odds with the long-term health of the game. As an example, if Guardians of the Rift resulted in returning 1 million runecrafting XP per hour, then it would probably be even more popular than it already is. Actually,
they should do that update.
It probably wouldn't, because everyone just get 99 and quit doing that, but would likely prove to damage the wider game. So how exactly do the Ruinous powers tie into this? At present, these prayers are extremely potent as a DPS upgrade in all styles across the board, and while the limited defense bonus is a drawback, their effective power is an extreme example of vertical progression, since for many players, these Ruinous powers will wholly replace the standard prayer book.
Yeah.
Vertical progression isn't inherently bad, but it needs to be done properly. Over the last 18 months, we released Torva, Masori, and Tumikin Shadow, to name but a few, and power has been creeping up at a higher rate than usual. We don't feel like now is the right time to be moving power upwards across the board in the way that the Ruinous powers are, and we want to safeguard against power creep like this until more content in the game exists that really warrants raising the bar quite this much. They also slyly didn't mention that they're just straight up power creeping all the best in slot rings in the game in just a few months.
I mean, I feel like that's one of the things that they can do because it's been so long.
Yeah, but I mean, by their means, there's really nothing to warrant it unless these new bosses are just
But they've been like 10 years old, right?
I mean, the Twisted Bow is just as old. Additionally, well, not just as old. Okay,
Not
don't attack me. I know it's not
You
literally.
were about to be attacked.
I know, everyone takes my words so literally. Additionally, for a power increase like this, it doesn't feel as though many players are particularly excited by the prayers.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was saying.
As opposed to being opposed in their inclusion.
Unopposed to their inclusion.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of being excited, everyone's like, sure, I don't care. Which is not a good enough reason to do it.
Yeah, if power is going to increase, we like to deliver it in a way that actually excites players. And that's not something we feel the Ruinous powers are doing right now.
Exactly.
It's funny because it kind of feels like, I don't know, like when you get someone a gift and they're all like not that excited about it.
They're like, oh, cool.
And you're like, wow, this sucks.
I think that's probably exactly how the devs feel.
Yeah,
they did all the thing they're all excited about, and no one's like necessarily like, oh, don't do it, but no one's excited about it either.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just kind of awkward.
I couldn't care less, so yeah. I guess they're right.
I've been saying that every week. I was just like, I just don't really care. Next, they talk about the future of Ruinous powers. Having said all that, we know many of you will be asking, why don't you just poll and let us decide? And we'd like to explain further. When approaching DT2 Fallen Empire, in particular the Ruinous powers for the first time, we wanted to bring to life something with a lot of potential and that ultimately felt special. We don't feel as though we properly anticipated and appreciated exactly how much time the volume of this consultation and the amount of back and forth required to properly deliver on our initial vision for OS's first ever new prayer book.
That's kind of funny. I don't know what they expected.
For us as a team, juggling everything that Ruinous powers need to be fully realized alongside 4 new bosses, the other awards, and all the time spent writing and designing the most ambitious quest to date is extremely difficult. Making any content of this scale is extremely resource intensive, and as it stands, we don't have the resource to deliver on our vision for Ruinous powers without the quality of the quest suffering as a result. We feel like compromising on the quality of everything else the quest entails in order to pursue the perfect prayer book isn't the right call to make, especially when many players and we as a team aren't confident in the design or how the design lines up with our goals. Moving forward, we know that to approach a new prayer book properly, it needs to be a project all on its own, with the same level of attention and detail as something like a new skill, rather than being tacked on as a single part of another project, which is already ambitious in scope. As such, they will not be progressing further with the Ruinous Powers prayer book. I hard agree with this part, that I didn't think about it until they said this. That it makes way more sense that this should be its own individual thing.
Yeah.
That is a huge update, not just added onto a quest that they already have a date for.
Yeah, I agree totally.
It may make sense like with the lore reasons of the quest, but like development wise, that just seems like a lot to be trying to do.
Yeah. Well, I definitely agree, and I understand what they mean about it like needing like its full attention and stuff like that. This also makes me slightly better feeling that we didn't go forward with the with shamanism, just because I don't know, this doesn't give me the most confidence that they would take the amount of requisite polls in order to get the skill like entirely right.
But you don't feel that was sailing?
No, because sailing was already like fairly well completed,
kind of fleshed out
in a lot of regards. I mean, obviously, you know, it's different. It's for old school. I get it. But also, like, a lot of the concepts and a lot of stuff has already kind of been, like, figured out or thought of or, you know, had time to be thought of. Whereas, like, shamanism would be an entirely new thing, never before done with, you know, 2 realities, essentially. It's like, I don't know if they would have done it justice, I guess, was my concern.
I disagree, because I think that they're acknowledging that they can't do this correctly, so they would have, like, been the same with the skill. They're saying, like, they need to develop or like they need to focus on it completely, which is what they're doing with a new skill.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
that's why I said like I kind of feel that way, but also I can understand why they didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate.
This decision isn't an easy one to make, and it's absolutely not one that we've made lightly, but it's a decision that we feel is best for OS right now and long term. We understand that for many of you, this likely isn't what you're hoping to read, especially with some of the things on offer that people are looking forward to, like resolving PVM with a new set of prayers and adjusting setups, chasing new PBs and world records, or perhaps the meta shakeups in PvP and brackets with limited defense. We fully appreciate that there were some exciting avenues offered by the Ruinous powers, but feel that we'll be able to do a much better job at delivering the same feeling of excitement in a future project where we can pay more attention to detail, taking everything we've learned so far and putting it into practice to make something significantly better for players of all sorts. That is to say that this is by no means us shutting the door on further experimentation and additions to prayers. Instead, it's us thinking back at where we started, where we wound up, how we got here, and how we think we could do a much better job to serve OS and its players properly with longevity and excitement in mind.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally.
But yeah, that is it for the future of Ruinous powers. As it stands now, there is no future.
Yeah, there is a very bleak future.
Yeah, so.
Under the rug.
Goodbye forever.
Yeah, unfortunate that it is actually not a meme. But I'm sure we'll see a new prayer book not called Ruinous Powers.
Eventually in our lifetime.
I'd bet less than 5 years from now.
Definitely less. I'd say 2.
I don't know. That's kind of pushing it, dude. That's kind of pushing it.
Well, something that we do know for sure is that there's been some more Pole 79 updates.
Yeah, dude. Actually, pretty exciting stuff, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pole 79 changes. We're back with a whole bunch of updates for the latest quality of life pole. First up is Swamp Bark armor.
Which looks very cool.
And also Blood Bark. First up, we made it so that we don't need every piece of Swamp Bark armor to obtain the full set bonus. That's actually pretty exciting. From now on, you'll only need the helmet, body, and legs to get the full effect. Usually, you would need the boots and the boots
too.
as well, yeah.
The boots and the boots.
The boots and the boots and the boots. You need 2, 1 for each foot.
Yeah.
And then, the double gloves. So you can don your Justice or your Mystic gloves and boots.
Where did Justice come from?
I don't know, because it's kind of similar.
There's a TIC. Never mind.
There's stuff in there.
It just sounds like Superman in your Justice gloves.
Yeah, if you don't have Justice gloves, you can also equip your Mystic gloves and boots before your next magical battle. This means the gloves and boots offer no additional effects outside of the regular stat bonuses, or you can do what most people will probably do. Well, not most people. I guess Mystics are pretty cheap. But you can also just put on, I don't know, like nothing, I guess.
Nothing.
We've also increased the effectiveness of the bonus by 1 tick per item, meaning you'll get an additional 6 ticks of duration using Bind, Snare, and Tingle when wearing the helm, body, and legs.
Nice.
So it boosts it up from 8 ticks to 14 for Bind, 22 for Snare, and 30 for Entangle. So actually a pretty good amount of time.
A lot of ticks.
Yeah, a lot of ticks. Don't get caught out with the Swamp Bark armor.
Literally, I will run in fear when I see it now.
Yeah, also we have Blood Bark. Don't forget about it. Biggest benefit that it has is it has healing from blood spells. With today's update, each piece will give you an increased 2% effectiveness, up from 1.5, allowing you to heal an additional 10% of damage inflicted. We've also increased the magic attack bonus of the body and the legs, up to 21 and 16, respectively, previously 18 and 13 for the body and the legs. And we also have probably the biggest change.
Yeah, this one's probably the most exciting, I'd say.
Yeah.
So that is about the escape crystal. Players may now enable their escape crystal to teleport them after a specific period of inactivity, and that's customizable. Inactivity is defined as any time you're not actively typing, clicking, or tapping the screen, although in a few weeks we'll expand the definition to rotating the camera or actively mousing over the screen, which is good because, you're not always moving and clicking stuff.
I think this is pretty exciting for you as a newly minted HC gym.
It might not help me in most situations, but it's a start.
Yeah.
So to clarify, this feature will only function when you're able to teleport away normally. So the deep wilderness is out and you can't use your escape crystal to wriggle out of a teleblock. Additionally, you can now affix the crystal to your finger like a ring, and you can also toggle it to act like a ring of life and teleport you to safety if your health drops below 10%.
That's huge.
Yeah. Be warned, though, it will act exactly like the ring of life, which means it won't save you from raids or similar events, even though the usual escape crystal would. Lastly, a niche case, but if you happen to have an escape crystal with the new inactivity teleport enabled on when you enter the gauntlet, you'll find that it will function as expected, even though it's supposed to be removed upon entry. You'll also be unable to configure or turn off this feature while you're in the gauntlet, so make sure your settings are set up the way that you like before you enter. If you have any questions about escape crystal functionality, Rick on the first floor of the Wizard's Tower has all the details. So go and speak to him if you have any questions.
That's pretty
I'm
cool.
just going to be skilling on the hardcore, so I'm not worried about it yet.
If you had to use it, how many ticks or how long would you set it for?
If it was doing the thing where it's like just hovering over the screen, 2 ticks.
Wait, just what do you mean just hovering over the screen?
That's something that they said they want to add eventually. Right now, it's only if you're actively clicking, but they were talking about adding it if you're even hovering over the screen.
How it is now.
How it is now?
Yeah.
See, that's why I wouldn't even want it now.
And you're doing a raid.
I wouldn't even want it now because, like, what? I don't know. Like, because I'm not clicking actively in raids all the time, you know?
Yeah. I was thinking I
like
would
4
do,
ticks?
If I was
I have no idea.
If I was a hardcore and I was going into a raid, I would choose specifically 9 ticks.
Yeah.
Because I think most bosses attack on 5. So I think in most cases I would probably be, hopefully, ideally smart enough to have more than 1 hit's worth of health left, and then I'll teleport out by the second hit.
It's just hard because, like, I'm thinking of if you're a runner in chambers, you're not... Actually, even if you're just sitting on mage hand chambers, you are not clicking for, like, a couple minutes, potentially.
Well, that's
if someone's
the thing
melee
is
skipping.
you'd have to, like, obviously knowing you're a GIM with this setup, you'd have to, like, alternate or configure your playstyle to, like, pretty much just be clicking all the time.
Yeah, that's why I can't even make a guess as to what I do because I'm not clicking all the time. It just seems like it'd be annoying.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited for them to add the hover thing because that's better. The whole point of this, if you are wondering like why, it's if you get DC'd.
Yeah, if you get DC'd or if your monitor explodes or something.
Yeah, so you'll be safe.
Actually, it'd be funny because if your monitor explodes, you're still technically moving around in game. So you'd actually probably just still die unless you like completely stopped moving and like
you just have to let go of the mouse at that point and be like, whoa.
Yeah. To be fair, if your monitor exploded, you're probably not still trying to play the game.
I mean, if you're a dedicated hardcore.
Yeah, you're probably like, I know where the crystal in my inventory is.
I didn't have a hardcore like nightmare last night, but I did have a weird RuneScape dream about cool. Me playing on the hardcore. So now I'm like, am I gonna become that person that has dreams about me dying on the hardcore?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
The change that I'm personally most excited for is one of the smaller changes.
Okay.
So wearing a gas mask, face mask, or Slayer helm will now prevent you from being infected by Nexus virus via other players.
I like this just because I want everyone to run around in gas masks because I think it'd look funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been waiting for this for a long time because it's really annoying running around Nex and just getting coughed on. So
I would be the one infecting everyone.
And I usually I only did like mass Nex. And I really only want to do mass next because, like,
whenever you go near your iron.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, this is
nice
gonna be
you'll
nice.
Be safe, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably just wear the Slayer helm, and that'll be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Also, on top of that, equipping the full set of Zealot's robes will provide a 5% chance, 1.25 per piece, to save both bone meal and buckets of slime while worshipping at the Ectofunctus. Is it Functus or Funtus? You tell us.
Funtus. I think I say Functus, though.
Yeah. Players may now pay 3,000 Numalite for permanent access to the volcanic mine. So
people have been waiting for that.
Only like 4 updates late, but it is here. Players are now 15 times more likely to receive the Phoenix Pet at Wintertot if above max. So 200 mil fire XP.
Stupid.
Players, ultimate players specifically, may now store Abyssal Tentacles, Guardian Boots, and Primordials in the stash units. And Ultimate Irons may now use a Spice Rack in a player-owned house.
Cool.
Some nice little quality of life.
Yeah. They also, again, go over, like, in case you missed it, the Ruinous powers, which we're not going to read, but I did want to read a little bit that they adjusted the skill requirements for the quest now. Because before there was a prayer requirement, too. So they have taken away the 60 prayer requirement. And they previously mentioned prayer XP lamp to be like at the end of the quest is when the rewards. That's now just gonna become a your choice combat XP lamp.
Cool.
Yep.
And to finally knock out some other changes, food can once again be dropped as 1 hour supply piles upon PVM death in the wilderness. These piles will no longer be saved and follow you if you hop worlds. However, they will continue to follow you if you die outside of the wilderness. I think if I'm guessing, people were having problems with this maybe at Corp.
I don't even know where people use this, to be honest.
Well, I know people suicide a lot at Corp, and I'm pretty sure that's technically still the wilderness. So maybe they're having problems there. But let us know if you're having problems with that. Rune pouches now keep their contents when their owner dies outside of PvP combat, which is nice.
Is that like how it usually empties then? You have to refill it?
Yeah, usually it disappears.
What? It doesn't disappear.
When
outside of PvP, not in PvP.
No, I was my bad. I read rune pouches, and in my mind, I was thinking of
The essence,
the item pouches.
the rune essence.
No, just regular pouches, or what are they called?
What goes in them?
Sacks in the wilderness.
Yeah, that's the rune. Oh, the looting.
Yeah,
bag.
looting bag. There we go.
No.
I was like, what is this? What is the name of this
I thought
item?
you meant the rune essence, and I was like, that's what I said.
No. I was thinking of looting bags, and I was like, yeah, you just lose everything anyways.
No.
Okay, that's
Different
cool.
thing.
Fixed an issue where the Twisted Bow bonus accuracy stopped being calculated during phase 2 of the Wardens. That's unfortunate. And the Wardens should no longer delete themselves when bound at the start of phase 2. Okay.
Dude, that's so frustrating.
Dragon and Barrow's gloves are no longer prioritized over Infernal capes for protection on death. That is good.
Priorities.
Fix the hair color on the makeover mage's chat head, and also C++ clients can use the volume slider. Will no longer cut the music, thankfully.
Cool. There's also a bit of a merch update. Angelscape's mystery bags, and I wanted to read this whole thing. I really wanted to. The bags are already sold out.
They're already sold
but
out.
But man, they look so cool.
They're pretty cool because
they were like limited edition.
There are a bunch of limited edition pins as well as keychains, and you got a random ones.
Yeah, and I think that everyone was guaranteed to have a limited edition, but there was like some huge ones, like multi-piece pins that would go together. So fortunately, these are sold out, but you can still check out the merch because there's still plenty of great keychains and pens available.
Yeah, gotta be quick on the draw next time.
Chains.
Also, huge news.
Mm-hmm.
Hugest news in the world, brother.
It's done.
It's over.
It's over. Crack the Clue is finally beat.
The ring has been thrown into the volcano.
Shut up. It's finally over. They had to do one more clue this week, but that was all everyone needed, and Crack the Clue is done.
Crack the Clue has been solved. There is a list
on Wiki showing how to do it.
Steps on the Wiki.
Man, is a lot.
Yeah, if you are one of the gamers, then you can participate as well. But yeah, it is finally over. The One Ring is done.
It's done. So you could go and get your outfit now. I think, what was it called? I've already forgotten what it was called.
Yeah, no one knows.
It's like, dude, this thing is so extensive. But yeah, it's the Robes of Ruin. Yeah. You also can get a infinite money bag that I think someone calculated. You just click it and it gives you 1 gold coin. I think you get 6,000 gold an hour.
Huge. Yeah, it's one every tick, I think.
Yo, I need to get this on my Iron account.
Yeah, dude.
Easy feathers incoming for me to go fly fishing. But yeah, Crack the Clue is done. Go get your outfit. I think I'm going to get mine later this week.
I will likely never get it, but that is cool. Shout out to whoever did that. Probably go see a doctor.
Shut up.
Because you're too cool for school. There you go. But yeah, that is it for this week.
And the PvP arena is using 1 defense Piers if you play that.
True.
But yeah, that's it for the updates. We can probably move right on to the Q&A.
Yeah, we definitely can.
So our first question is going to be from Ivor on Discord. What is your hottest RuneScape take? Ivor also said this will be difficult for Robert.
It will be.
He said his answers. Everyone is whining about how Questcape is the pinnacle of mid-game achievement, but half the quests are useless. And everyone will be huffing and puffing, grinding diary requirements when half the diaries are useless.
Yeah.
I like the way that you say it. It's funny. Huffing and puffing.
Huffing and puffing.
Tell us your hottest take. Tell me the craziest thing you could think of.
This is kind of tough. I like Ivor said, this is tough for me because I have many hot takes. I will limit it to RuneScape because
not real life hot takes.
Yeah, that would be bad for everyone involved. So we'll just contain it to RuneScape. But I'm not entirely sure because there's so many things that I could say about RuneScape and just how amazing it is.
Well, do you want me to answer first then?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
My first hot take is I literally don't care about bots.
Yeah.
Is my first one, which people talk about the economy and it annoys me because I'm just like, oh my, I don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe I would care. Maybe it's affecting me and I don't realize. But as it stands, talking about it, I'm just like, I don't care. My
Sure.
other one is I really don't care about bank value.
Yeah.
My hot take, I guess, related to that is if you already own the item and you're not going to sell it, why does it matter if it goes down in value?
Yeah. You know what's funny
That's
is
my hot take because I know a lot of people care, and I'm like, you're not going to sell it.
you know what's kind of funny about you saying that is I mean, I could be off here, but isn't that like the equivalent of like rich privilege?
Maybe. I
Like
don't
you don't
know.
care because you have an infinite amount of time to play, right?
Yeah, no, I do.
What I mean, yeah, imagine if you only had like 5 hours, you came back the next week and your stuff's worth less.
I mean, but why would I care if I'm not going to sell it? Is what I'm saying.
But you can sell it.
No, but my specific thing is if you're not selling it, if you have something that you plan on keeping for at least like the foreseeable future, why does it matter? Like people who like I know Annan sometimes will be like, "Oh my god, the shadow's going down," and I'm like, "But you're not going to sell it." I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a really good comparison when you say it like that.
Because it's
When
a
it's
shadow.
when it's pinnacle gear. But a really good example is Bandos. Your Bandos is worth a lot less than it was last year, and Torva still is really expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's just I have such a hard time caring because the way I think of it in a way is like I'm getting my money's worth, so it doesn't really matter if I lose out on money because I've had my Bandos for like 3 years now, and I'm probably gonna have it for another year
Yeah.
at this rate. We'll see. I don't know, but that's my hot take. I know it's a hot
Okay.
take.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, my hottest
Robert's
take.
pretty mild.
Yeah, I mean, I could just I'll just say like a weird hot take I haven't said in a long time. This game's not hard. So I'll just do
I'm
that,
not
I
even.
guess.
I have nothing to say to that.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I'll just do that. Maybe tell me if that's a hot
No,
take.
that's a good hot take. That is a good hot
Yeah, I was
take.
like, I don't know if that's a hot take. So yeah, there we go.
It certainly is, but yeah, I feel like I'm just not going to respond to it. I'm not
Okay.
going to I'm not going to take the bait right now, Robert.
All right, there we go. I was like, I don't even know if this is a hot take, but
You know it is.
I'm not sure.
See,
I
he's
don't
trying
talk.
to start something.
I don't talk to other players. How would I know?
Oh my gosh.
I'm just in my like little bubble.
But anyway, so our next question is from Harger over on Discord. Is Gnome Ball really disappointingly lame? And should Jagex revitalize it to actually make it super fun? Imagine if you could play as a team of real users against other real users. First of all, based on the way you worded this, Harger, I can guess how you feel about Gnome Ball.
Yeah.
Disappointingly lame. Not even actually, really disappointingly lame.
Yeah.
The way you worded that made me laugh whenever I saw it. Yeah, I would never want to do it.
Yeah.
It would definitely be more fun if there was more people, but I think that no one would do it.
It's funny because
realistically.
I know exactly how to revitalize this.
Tell
and
us.
it's tied to agility.
Okay. What is it?
Actually, I just thought of this on the spot, and I feel like it's actually like a half decent idea. So obviously, agility sucks and is boring.
Yes.
That's known. But it'd be cool if this was on one, a bigger field, two, with other people, and three, was a mini game that similar to Wintertot.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you got stuff at the end of it, including agility XP.
That would be nice.
Right? I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe there's like a low requirement, like 35 agility or something like that. And then you could go there and it would be like a 3-on-3 game.
More exciting than running in circles?
You'd have unlimited energy in the mini game. And so
you better.
while you're in the mini game, and whenever you kick the ball, it goes like 4 or 5 squares in whatever direction you are aiming.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have to like go around the ball. If you want to, hit it to the left, you have to be on the right. And if you
realistic in a way.
Yeah, if you want to hit it forward, you have to be behind it. And the first to 3 points, or whatever, who cares about the rules, wins. And then you get experience based on, how well you did. Maybe like Wintertot, maybe you'll get experience based on your actual agility level, stuff like that. So that agility doesn't suck. And also make it probably just slightly worse than Sepulcher. So Sepulcher's still better at the end game. But early game, no one likes rooftops. And you can still go to rooftops if you want an outfit.
Yeah.
But I don't see a reason why we're tying agility to rooftops still.
Yeah. I think it would be really good as an agility update, actually. Because it's just better than running in a circle.
Yeah.
Which is all agility is.
That would actually be really cool.
And you'd have to use your brain a little bit. Some people obviously wouldn't like it, but
Yeah,
I don't think it's a bad
it
idea.
definitely takes a little bit more thought than winter tot, so people would be less inclined. But still,
Some people would enjoy it for sure.
Like 50 to 60,000 agility XP is kind of a lot.
Just a little.
Compared to the 20k you get from Falador rooftops or wherever. Well, actually Falador is a lot.
I was like, I don't think it's that little, but let's just be really dramatic and say like the 3,000 an hour.
I really meant Varrock.
All right, our final RuneScape question before some real life questions is from Matt on Instagram. So, thoughts on more extensive Dwarven metro system? Many of the major cities in OSRS have metro entrances for the underground subway system. You can buy a single-way ticket, day pass, month pass, or year pass. The subways provide access from city center to city center in all cities in mainland Gilnor. They will not travel underwater to islands. You enter the station, talk to the ticket booth to choose a destination and pay, and wait on the platform for the next train, a maximum of 3 minutes. Here you can speak to other players. The annual ticket is highly discounted and provides good means of transport for noobs with low magic levels or other teleport options. Due to the possible wait time, prices are reduced, attractive to noobs, but higher level players often opt for other fast options. What would you think? I thought this was very European idea, wasn't it?
It is very European.
I'm like, what's a metro?
And I think it is, one, a really good idea, but two, it has a pretty big flaw.
The wait time?
Yeah, the 3 minutes. I think if it was 30 seconds.
I think if it's 30 seconds, that would still even make high-level players not want to do it, because that's slow to me.
Well, this is for more newbie players.
Yeah, but for new players, I think 30 seconds, that's like how much the home telly is. I think that 30 seconds is enough.
I think 30 seconds would be perfect. Because
3 minutes is way too long.
Even as a new player, it's not unreasonable to get runes for teleporting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're a main account.
Yeah.
It's really, really not. Like, I mean, what are you going to not find 200 gold for a law rune and, the other runes you need?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think 30 seconds, any of the free-to-play worlds, honestly, I think they should expand it and just do any, like, actual town. Like
any big city.
Yeah, go to Yanil, go to Letia. Who cares? I honestly don't care.
Yeah.
But I think there should be more teleport options in the game, honestly, because
I have most teleports in the game, like in my house. I mean, to be fair, my Nexus sucks. My Nexus, I don't have a lot on it. I still get frustrated sometimes doing clues because it feels like I have to weirdly run far for a couple of them.
Yeah, that's
specifically like the ones in Corinne, like Porpoise Scarilius.
Oh yeah, Corinne's
that one
so
annoys the heck. I don't use the mining or the carts there.
Yeah,
I like low-key don't remember how they work, so I'm intimidated. But like the book and stuff, it's so impractical.
Yeah.
Like, I would like more options. Which I know it sounds funny, them complaining when there's literally a train there, but still.
You'll understand as an Iron Man once, like, the book's actually pretty easy. Like, once you just charge it by going to the place.
I don't
really,
remember how to
really
charge
simple.
it. I need to charge it on my main.
You'll figure it out as an Iron Man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's actually pretty reasonable. But, yeah, I still feel, maybe this is also a hot take, tying back to the other question, but I feel like there's just not enough teleports in the game. Like, there are teleports, but it's always to like
teleports.
These weird places, and then you have to deal with the really trash run system. This would all be fixed with the run system, honestly. But with it the way it is now, I think there should be more teleports. So I think you could expand this for sure.
I've talked about many times how my least favorite thing in this game is having to run around. I hate wasting time just running around.
Running around in games is easily top 3 biggest annoyances.
Yeah. Especially in games that like don't let you run like really fast. I'm like, oh my god, I hate it. It makes me want to scream.
Speaking of how I spent like 10 minutes talking about Diablo, one of the main things I was talking about is how much I hate the running system in that game.
Oh yeah.
Like the horse system sucks.
It's kind of like a Phasmophobia. You could run for like 3 seconds and you walk because you're out of breath, and I'm just like, I want to scream.
Yeah, who can run for only 3 seconds? These guys need to go to like the track or something.
I'm not athletic at all, and I could run for probably at least 10 seconds. Like, come on.
Yeah, probably.
I'd like to think.
If it was that or getting murked by a ghost, then yeah, probably.
You'd think the adrenaline would get to them.
Maybe they're just always on adrenaline.
Maybe. But anyway, that is it for our RuneScape questions. We have a couple in real life questions, though.
Yep.
So first, before we ask the new one, we have a response to last week. So last week, Ivor asked, what's the worst thing you've done for personal gain? Harger actually had an answer for this. Harger said, so there was this video game store chain near me as a kid. They're not in business anymore. Probably this is why, to be honest.
Yeah.
where you could return a game for no reason within 7 days.
Wow.
That's a good deal.
This is actually probably why.
I wanted to play Mario Party, but didn't want to pay for it. So every 6 days, I would return it to one store and rent it from another. Since there were like 5 local stores in the same chain, I would only return to the same store every 30 days, and they wouldn't remember me by then. I would keep checking out the game and returning it. I did that with quite a few games until my mom found out and scolded me for it. I was young, though, so I don't judge myself too harshly for it. Honestly,
that's funny.
I don't even think that is like a bad thing with stooping so low. That's just like not necessarily taking advantage of their rules, but that's their own rules, man.
I mean, that's the epitome of taking advantage of the rules.
Okay, you know what? Maybe it's just because it sounds like something that I would do too.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. They don't even remember me.
That's actually funny. That reminds me a lot of my childhood, but I would rent them from Blockbuster, so it was actually legal. But yeah, I don't know. That's that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
But I mean, other than the fact that Harger, I think, single-handedly puts them out of business.
Yeah.
That part's kind of messed up.
Honestly, collectively, maybe the whole neighborhood might have. But
everyone was doing it.
Honestly, I don't really find a big problem with that, mostly because I think
it's that bad.
the prices of video games are kind of a scam anyways.
Yeah, and you were a kid. Like, kids don't have money to buy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at, like, games nowadays are $70. Like, I'm really disappointed in myself that I spent $90 on Diablo. Kind of crazy. Games are so expensive.
Oh yeah.
And also, I remember I used to play games like that, like as in like buying them new, until this one year. I remember this one year on console, I bought this game. I bought it for $60 and I beat it the day I bought it. And I was like, this is I literally
That's a $60 day.
As like a 15-year-old kid, I was like, this is unsustainable.
Yeah.
And I stopped buying games after that.
Oh my god.
And so yeah, I didn't buy games for a really long time.
That's funny.
Maybe that's why I have so many hours on like free games.
True. But our real life question is also from Harger. So, what is your favorite non-dairy milk? His top 5: oat milk, soy milk, coconut milk, full fat almond milk, and spelt milk, which we've not actually tried before.
No, they don't really sell that commonly here.
I had to look it up and see what it was. I was like, oh, maybe it's a different name, but no, I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
But what's your top 3 maybe? Because I don't think we have 5.
I'll just give you my top one because all the others are kind of just
inferior.
No, I just use them whenever.
Yeah.
And I don't really have too much of a preference. But my top number 1, if I'm using it in something, is soy milk.
I think soy milk too.
Yeah.
I thought you choose oat milk.
If I'm drinking something, it's oat milk.
Oh, really? Even with drinks, I like soy milk more because it's like thicker.
I like oat milk more drinking it because it is sweeter naturally. Even without sweetener, it's sweeter because
all the soy milk I have is sweetened.
There's sugar in the grain, so it's actually sweeter. And also, it has a more neutral flavor.
Yeah, that's true. Soy does kind of have a distinct flavor, but I just like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you would say oat for everything, to be honest. You know what's not the best that used to be my favorite is almond milk.
Yeah, almond milk sucks.
Is like watery. I think that almond milk's just because it was the first big non-dairy milk to become popular.
Yeah,
so everyone thought it was lit, and now that we have all these other milks, we're like, oh wow, almond's kind of like the worst one.
Yeah.
Almost the worst. Pea milk is worse.
That's what I've heard. I've had it before, and I didn't think it was that bad, but I didn't have it plain, so I don't know.
Dude, Alfresco even said, have you tried pea milk? I think it tastes of the color gray.
It is gray.
It is, but it tastes gray.
Yeah.
We got pea chocolate milk before. That just sounds gross. It sounds like a pea thing.
Yeah.
But even the chocolate milk, I was like, oh, this just isn't good.
Well, it wasn't sweetened.
Oh, why did we get
unsweetened
chocolate milk?
It was very slightly sweet. That brand doesn't sweeten very much.
Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah.
Pea milk, not my favorite. Haven't tried hemp milk either, but
hemp milk is good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we've tried a lot, I guess. We've even tried like macadamia and cashew milk.
Cashew, okay. If we're talking about the best, cashew
is your favorite.
Cashew is actually the best.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be what we buy. Like, what is your favorite?
Cashew milk is crack. That stuff is good. It is just so expensive. It is prohibitively. It's
your special treat.
It's like
milk.
$5 or $6 per half gallon, which is like a little more than a liter for you EU people.
Yeah,
it's very, very expensive. But
it's number 1.
It is very good.
Yeah.
It is very, very good.
It's good. We've only had it a couple times, and like it didn't have that big of an impression on me, so I'll just keep saying soy.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the best milk is a hybrid milk.
What's the hybrid?
Like oat cashew.
Have we tried that? Or you just
No.
think it would be good combined?
I've had cashew soy,
Oh, you have?
and that's really good.
Mm.
But I know people that make their own oat milk sometimes mix in cashew, and it supposedly makes it a lot better.
We should do that. We have an entire thing of cashews that Robert wants to make cashew milk with eventually.
I need to get a bag. You need a special bag because
Yeah.
it's like really fine. So yeah, either way, that's my favorite milk. Let us know your favorite milk, even if it's cow milk. I don't care. Let me know what it is.
I know. I think people think that we'll get butt hurt if you drink cow's milk.
Yeah. I know
All I will do is judge you because I was super lactose intolerant. I stopped drinking cow's milk years before I went vegan.
Yeah. You can even be like super particular if you're like, I only like organic A2 milk.
Yeah.
Which
tell us your specific
shout out if you know what that even is.
favorite milk. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, if you want to tell us your favorite milk or ask us any questions like that or any RuneScape related questions, you can hit us up on any of our social media, which usually Robert's the one saying this, so I feel like weird. But anyway, our Twitter and TikTok are Bunebapeosrs. Our Twitch and YouTube are both Bunebape, as well as our Instagram. So I stream 5 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. Come hang out with me there. And I have shorts coming out every day on all of those, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you all
very soon. Bye-bye. Meep.